Naval Surface Warfare Center, Naval Undersea Warfare Center, arriving. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Suffin will now offer the invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, we come to you in prayer as our first and highest duty, offering our grateful praise for your abundant goodness. Make us aware of your presence and be known among us as the author of strength, mercy, and joy. The character of Class 1719 has been established through suffering and toil. They have been tested and found worthy. May this be no transitory state. May they be known while they serve throughout their lives and long after for their consummate integrity. What they have gained in knowledge and physical strength, match for them now in spiritual will to accomplish far greater things in service to the fleet, the nation, and the world. And may they always recall fondly their formative moments on these grounds. Bless each member of this class team by the measure of what they have generously given. Let them be encouraged by the continued success of these new ensigns. Guide us to honor those united in applause today and the many more they represent who were active in the course of events that led to this celebration. Faithfully we offer these prayers to you, O God, our refuge and shield. Bless those who go forth to stand the watch. May all here gathered find ourselves daily restored, confirmed, strengthened, and established by your mighty hand. In your holy name, amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Class 1719, add it! Seats!
Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Mark Nicholson, Commanding Officer, Officer Training Command, Newport.
General Steiner, Admiral Verhage, captains, colonels, distinguished guests, family members, friends, and most importantly, soon-to-be commissioned ensigns of Class 1719. Good morning.
Good morning, sir!
Welcome to Newport on this beautiful morning. I'd like to start off by formally thanking and recognizing the members of Navy Band Northeast. Your patriotic music inspires us all, and I truly thank you all for being here, shipmates. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing Navy Band Northeast. It's my sincere honor and privilege to be with all of you this morning, to recognize and celebrate the achievement of these 89 young men and women sitting in front of me, America's very best and brightest, as they are commissioned as the newest ensigns in the United States Navy. For the families, I want to thank you, not only for making the long trip to be here this morning, but for the performance of your sons and daughters, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters. Your love and support have helped produce the quality individuals seated here and enabled our outstanding team of recruit division commanders, drill instructors, and class officers to further develop them morally, mentally, and physically into future leaders of character and competence. On behalf of the Navy and on behalf of the grateful nation, thank you for your efforts. For Class 1719, the profession of naval officers, much like the medical and law professions, requires its members to take an oath. In just a few minutes, your parents, spouses, and loved ones, along with the OTC staff and myself, will bear witness as you raise your right hand to support and defend the Constitution. This oath carries far more obligations than privileges. It carries the obligation to serve in the most trusted institution in America. According to Gallup polls that stretch back for more than a decade, the American people trust the military more than any other institution. A list that includes Supreme Court, Congress, organized religion, police, public schools, our criminal justice system, and our medical system. It is up to you to maintain this trust. As George Washington once stated in an address to the officers of the Virginia Regiment, remember that it is the actions and not the commission that make the officer, and that there is more expected from him or her than the title. As an officer, you will lead and mentor what is truly one of our most valuable national assets, the enlisted men and women of our Navy. The American people are trusting you to care for and lead them in defending our Constitution. I challenge you to maintain and build upon the American people's trust through your actions as a naval officer. I'm extremely proud of the effort you've expended over the last couple of months. It's my pleasure and honor to welcome you all as naval officers into the wardroom of the world's greatest Navy. I have another honor and privilege this morning, that of introducing our guest speaker, Rear Admiral Eric Verhaeghe. His extensive bio can be found in your programs, but I'll hit a few highlights. He enlisted in the Navy in 1984 and then graduated from the United States Naval Academy in 1991. He is designated a surface warfare officer and is a surface acquisition professional and holds a master's in national security and strategic studies from the Naval War College. He's commanded at all levels, including the USS Carr, Naval Surface Warfare Center Corona Division, Naval Surface Warfare Center Port Hueneme Division, and has served as the Program Executive Officer of Integrated Warfare Systems, Project Manager for U.S. participation in the Maritime Theater Missile Defense Forum. And most recently has served as a Major Program Manager for the Aegis Ashore with the Missile Defense Agency. Currently, he serves as the Commander, Naval Surface Warfare Center and Naval Undersea Warfare Center. Please join me in welcoming this morning's guest speaker, Rear Admiral Eric Verhaeghe.
So first, at ease. Keep going. All right, I hope no one holds my commissioning source against me today. So Captain Nicholson, thank you for your introduction to speak today, and it is awesome to see all these smiling faces on the team out there. So ladies and gentlemen, to the Officer Candidate School staff and friends and family of our graduates, and most importantly, Officer Candidate School Class 17-19. Let me add my welcome to all of you and to today's graduation ceremonies. And to our graduates in particular, congratulations to you as you begin your careers as commissioned officers in the world's finest Navy. You made it. Your new careers, as I said yesterday, I promise you, will be filled with amazing opportunities to learn and to serve and to lead. I love coming back to Newport. I've been stationed here multiple times during my 35 years in uniform, including as a young petty officer attending the Naval Academy Prep School. Connington Point, where we are here, and K Hall brings back so many memories. Close order drill right here, the smell of newly issued uniforms, early morning PT, the environmental hazards associated with the geese and seagulls, and the language and lexicon that has frankly been absolutely perfected by our Marine Corps drill instructors as they provide tips on how we can raise our game. Gunnery Sergeant Osborne, United States Marine Corps, he scared the bejesus out of me. I remember him vividly today. I had enormous respect for him, and I'm a better sailor and a better officer today because of his leadership. This hall also brings back many memories of friends and shipmates. A number of those who I met here have turned out to be lifelong friends and or colleagues that I've served with over and over again. And whether you serve for 5 years or 35 years, the bonds formed here by the Narragansett Bay will last a lifetime. So to our soon-to-be ensigns, by the way, I bear the hearty personal congratulations of our new Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Mike Gilday. Earlier this week, I sent our CNO a note letting him know that I was coming to talk with you. He wrote me back from Japan as he was preparing to visit ships on the waterfront. The CNO said to tell you that you're critically important to our ability to maintain a winning team. He said he values each of you and encourage you to leverage your unique skills, your insights, your talent to make our Navy even better. Each one of these sharp young officers matters. And together with our Marine Corps partners, they will help us deliver integrated American sea power to a degree we've not seen before. So how motivating is that? A message from the CNO to all of you, and I'm honored to be the messenger. I also know that Rear Admiral Milton Sands, your boss, but commander of the Naval Services Training Command, whose responsibilities include OCS, would be here today, and he's proud of you and would be here today if he could. As I reviewed the class roster in preparations for today, I noted that the class hails from 29 different states, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and 2 foreign countries. I had the chance yesterday to spend some time with the graduates. Their motivation, their aptitude, and their commitment to our Navy and nation was obvious. They are the best our country has to offer. With the talent these men and women have, they could have worked anywhere, and you chose to work here. You chose to serve in the United States Navy. And so for their commitment, for your commitment, and for the oath of office that you're about to take, we're all incredibly grateful. So for the family and friends in the audience, I know how proud you are of your soon-to-be ensigns, and it was awesome to watch you last night as you interacted. I know you could see the difference, see the changes that 7 weeks, or 12 weeks, sorry, that those 12 weeks have made. It was pretty inspiring. Captain Nicholson and I and the others in the room who have served can tell you from personal experience, this is only the beginning of what's going to be an amazing journey. When a sailor serves, the entire family serves with him. The support of family and friends is a force multiplier. Our graduates owe you, and your Navy owes you, a debt of gratitude for your support. Not only for the support to date, but in advance for the support that is yet to come. So thank you from all of us. I'd like to recognize the Officer Candidate School staff and the class team in particular for the amazing work they do and did to mold these motivated young people into naval leaders and their efforts to help these sailors maximize their talent and potential. It's hard work. The hours are long. Just ask their families. But it's incredibly important work. And for these professionals, it is more than a job. It's more than a job. It's a mission. And it's a personal investment in the future of our Navy. So to all the Officer Candidate School staff, whether you're on the drill field, in the corridors of Nimitz or Callahan Hall, in the classroom, who are behind the scenes making all the logistics and everything else work, thank you. We are in your debt as well. All right, now for the 89 new ensigns assembled here, welcome to the rest of your naval careers. 5 years from now, I guarantee you, you will not remember who your speaker was today. You will look back on today, I'm confident, as the day that your life's trajectory changed from awesome to really, really awesome. Trust me on that one. With the oath of office that you will take in a few moments, you will assume the duties and the responsibility and the accountability that comes with it as an ensign in the United States Navy. And as I mentioned earlier in my remarks, today is the start of an amazing new opportunity to learn, serve, and lead in the world's greatest Navy. Not only is this an opportunity, it's also an obligation. And I charge you to do all three. I'm going to talk about each of them. So first, I want you to keep learning. Most of you are headed, as soon as you get your orders, to additional training. And some of you, particularly those maybe in naval aviation or in nuclear power, you have likely years ahead of you of training. No matter what your specialty or career field, I promise you, the United States Navy's investment in you has only just begun. Irish poet William Yeats once wrote, "Education is not the filling of a pail, but it's the lighting of a fire." I could not agree more. As a leader, you must commit yourself to lifelong learning, and sometimes this training will be pushed at you, pushed to you, and other times, though, the ball will be in your court to go grab it. So whether it's an advanced degree, off-duty reading, or it's something to do with certification, I challenge you to push yourself. Never stop exposing yourself to new ideas, to new technologies, the way other people think, new ways to make you as an individual and your organization that you're in more efficient and effective. Share your passion for learning with your sailors and help them to have the same opportunities that you have. And as you move from assignment to assignment, if you're doing it right, the learning never stops. You will learn new skills, meet new people, and face new challenges. And with each successive assignment, you will grow, you will iterate, and you become a better version of yourself. And that's both personally and professionally. Whether you serve for 5 years or 35, the learning never stops, and it's incredibly rewarding. All right, number 2, I want you to serve. Your future sailors and their well-being and their mission success, these are the reasons you're here today. John Paul Jones, the father of our Navy, said once, "Men mean more than guns in the rating of a ship." This rings truer today than ever. Even with all the technology and all the gear, men mean more than guns in the rating of a ship. Serve your sailors, serve each other, and serve your Navy and nation. Ship, shipmate, self, in that order. But one caveat to go with it. Sometimes, and we talked about the importance of lifelong learning just a few moments ago, the best way you can serve your ship or your shipmates is to take care of yourself. Physical or mental fitness, your family, sometimes tending to those responsibilities actually maximizes your personal effectiveness. And by doing that, and by tending to your own needs sometimes, you're maximizing your ability to serve others. Ship, shipmate, self, they're definitely intertwined, and it's up to you to find the right balance. Now, I know we're in the U.S. Navy, but it's an Army Civil War battle that I want to just talk about briefly. The Battle of Antietam was the bloodiest day in American military history. 23,000 casualties in a single 8-hour period. At the Antietam Cemetery, there is a monument. It's a towering monument, and it's not to a general, not to a field grade officer, or even a senior enlisted leader. It's a monument to the humble soldier that all of us in leadership have the responsibility to serve. The locals in Antietam call him Old Simon. And at the base of Old Simon, there are 7 words that speak to the enormity of the sacrifice that the many who are buried there made. Not for themselves, but for their country. Not for themselves, but for their country. And since we're in the Navy, our equivalents of Antietam are places like Pearl Harbor, Coral Sea, Midway, Leyte Gulf, Iwo Jima, you can go on and on. In each of these battles, it's a deck plate sailor like those we serve today and the officers and senior enlisted who led them who made the decisive difference. Men mean more than guns and the rating of a ship. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, I needed to lead. With your oath of office, you're committing yourself to this naval profession of ours, to make a difference and to be part of something larger than yourselves. Our world, and particularly those that have been around the block a little bit, is back in an era of great power competition, and our near-peer competitors are gaining strength. Today, it is not simply enough to deter aggression against great powers. We need to be ready to fight and win. We need you to be exceptional. We don't expect you to be superhuman, but we expect you to try. As individuals and as a team, sometimes you'll fall short, but when you set the bar high and when you strive for it, you will achieve amazing things. As you leave Newport, you are entering a Navy on the cusp of great change. Game-changing new ships, and they are game-changing. Some of them manned, some of them unmanned. Game-changing new weapons. At this very moment, they're either in design or under construction. Drones, lasers, hypersonic missiles, new cyber tools, advanced surface, subsurface, and aviation platforms, the list is lengthy, and the need for these new capabilities has never been greater. As our Navy grows to 355 ships, and as we arm them with these new capabilities, you are the officers that will lead the way. You will be the leaders in a different Navy with new strategies, new technology, and new ideas. And this Navy will be manned by sailors who are the best that we've ever had. Those gold ensign bars weigh only a few ounces, but the weight of what they represent and the responsibilities that come with them are profound. A Royal Navy captain, later an admiral by the name of Hopwood, he wrote a poem titled Laws of the Navy. There are 24 verses. I will only read one. They were 100 years ago is when he wrote it, over 100 years, but I think his words are timeless. One verse in particular speaks to the unbroken chain of naval leadership that all of us who have or still wear the naval uniform represent. Hopwood wrote, "On the strength of one link in the cable dependeth the might of the chain. Who knows when thou may be tested, so live that thou bearest the strain." Class 1917, it is your turn to bear the strain. You represent the newest link in a chain of Navy leadership and Navy excellence and ingenuity and can-do warrior spirit that has stretched back almost 244 years. You follow in the footsteps of leaders like Jones, Farragut, Nimitz, Burke, and Zumwalt, and leaders like Rickover, Hopper, and Myers as well. In this very hall, my NAPS classmate and I met Admiral Grace Hopper. She was a Navy pioneer, and she was an amazing leader. If you are not familiar with these leaders and the difference they made, consider taking some time, and I think the aviators have 2 months, maybe 2.5, so perfect thing for you. Read about some of those Navy leaders. Learn about what they said and what they did and the difference they made. These leaders transformed our Navy, and as they did so, they transformed our world. So in closing, we trust you to be leaders of character, of competence, and of consequence. We trust you to leave our profession and our Navy better than when you found it. Make the most of this opportunity to learn, to serve, and to lead. And as you lead, be confident, be humble, but be bold. Shipmates, welcome aboard. I look forward to working with you, to serving with you in the fleet. Thank you.
The graduating class will now receive the oath of office. Would all military personnel in uniform please come to the position of attention?
Pass 1719. Attention.
Class 1719, raise your right hand. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Class 1719, at edge, seats.
The graduates assembled will now be recognized by the commanding officer for their achievements while undergoing training here at Officer Training Command Newport.
Row, left, face, forward, march.
Ensign Alonzo. Ensign Alonzo has been designated a surface warfare officer and would be assigned to USS Port Royal in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Ensign Alonzo is a graduate of Temple University. Ensign Bernhardt. Ensign Bernhardt has been designated an explosive ordnance disposal warfare officer and has been assigned to Naval Diving and Salvage Training Center in Panama City, Florida. Ensign Bernhardt is a graduate of Norwich University. Ensign Boatwright. Ensign Boatwright has been designated a nuclear submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Boatwright is a graduate of Texas Tech University. Ensign Brandley. Ensign Brandley has been designated a surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS Jason Dunham in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Brandley is a graduate of University of Albany. Ensign Carpenter. Ensign Carpenter has been designated a cryptologic warfare officer and will be assigned to Information Warfare Basic Course in Dam Neck, Virginia. Ensign Carpenter is a graduate of Kent State University. Ensign Cope. Ensign Cope has been designated a nuclear surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS Pinckney in San Diego, California. Ensign Cope is a graduate of Texas A&M University. Ensign Edwards. Ensign Edwards has been designated a Supply Corps officer and has been assigned to Naval Supply Corps Officer School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Edwards is a graduate of Campbell University. Ensign Emilian. Ensign Emilian has been designated a Civil Engineer Corps officer and will be assigned to Civil Engineer Corps Officer School in Port Hueneme, California. Ensign Emilian is a graduate of Florida International University. Ensign Franzak. Ensign Franzak has been designated a surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS Curtis Wilbur in Yokosuka, Japan. Ensign Franzak is a graduate of University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Ensign Gill. Ensign Gill has been designated as a nuclear submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Gill is a graduate of Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University. Ensign Gurkha. Ensign Gurkha has been designated a nuclear submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Gurkha is a graduate of University of Tennessee. Ensign Haller. Ensign Haller has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Haller is a graduate of Colorado College. Ensign Harcourt. Ensign Harcourt has been designated a nuclear submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Harcourt is a graduate of the Pennsylvania State University. Ensign Jolly. Ensign Jolly has been designated a nuclear submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Jolly is a graduate of the University of Tennessee. Ensign Kelly. Ensign Kelly has been designated a nuclear submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Kelly is a graduate of University of Florida. Ensign Coquenes. Ensign Coquenes has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Coquenes is a graduate of Brigham Young University. Ensign Lefkoff. Ensign Lefkoff has been designated a cryptologic warfare officer and will be assigned to information warfare basic course in Damnick, Virginia. Ensign Lefkoff is a graduate of the Johns Hopkins University. Ensign Lyon. Ensign Lyon has been designated a nuclear surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS New Orleans in Sasebo, Japan. Ensign Lyon is a graduate of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Ensign Mack. Ensign Mack has been designated a surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS Arleigh Burke in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Mack is a graduate of Arizona State University. Ensign McDonald. Ensign McDonald has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign McDonald is a graduate of University of Maine. Ensign Wynn. Ensign Wynn has been designated a nuclear submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Wynn is a graduate of California Polytechnic State University. Ensign O'Connell. Ensign O'Connell has been designated a surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS Michael Mansour in San Diego, California. Ensign O'Connell is a graduate of the College of the Holy Cross. Ensign O'Derno. Ensign O'Derno has been designated a Civil Engineer Corps officer and will be assigned to Civil Engineer Corps Officer School in Port Hueneme, California. Ensign O'Derno is a graduate of University of New Hampshire. Ensign Ozer. Ensign Ozer has been designated an oceanography officer and will be assigned to Information Warfare Basic Course in Damnick, Virginia. Ensign Ozer is a graduate of each of the following schools: University of Cincinnati, the Montana State University, and the University of Colorado. Ensign Perez. Ensign Perez has been designated a surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS Portland in San Diego, California. Ensign Perez is a graduate of University of Incarnate Word. Ensign Piston. Ensign Piston has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Piston is a graduate of California State Polytechnic University, Pomona. Ensign Romero. Ensign Romero has been designated a nuclear submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Romero is a graduate of New Mexico State University. Ensign Sanchez. Ensign Sanchez has been designated a nuclear submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Sanchez is a graduate of Jacksonville University. Ensign Schaefer. Ensign Schaefer has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Schaefer is a graduate of University of Georgia. Ensign Searles. Ensign Searles has been designated a surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS Cole in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Searles is a graduate of Polk State College. Ensign Shumway. Ensign Shumway has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Shumway is a graduate of Michigan State University. Ensign Strom. Ensign Strom has been designated a nuclear submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Strom is a graduate of North Dakota State University. Ensign Tilley. Ensign Tilley has been designated a Civil Engineer Corps officer and will be assigned to Civil Engineer Corps Officer School in Port Hueneme, California. Ensign Tilley is a graduate of North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. Ensign Vo. Ensign Vo has been designated a nuclear submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Vo is a graduate of University of Texas at Austin. Ensign Wakefield. Ensign Wakefield has been designated an Information Professional Officer and will be assigned to the Information Professional Basic Course in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Wakefield is a graduate of both St. Bonaventure University and Excelsior College. Ensign Walker. Ensign Walker has been designated a nuclear submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Walker is a graduate of the Ohio State University. Ensign Weinzierl. Ensign Weinzierl has been designated a nuclear submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Weinzierl is a graduate of the University of South Alabama. Ensign Weeb. Ensign Weeb has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Weeb is a graduate of Purdue University. Ensign Willis. Ensign Willis has been designated a surface warfare officer and has been assigned to USS Shoup in San Diego, California. Ensign Willis is a graduate of the Virginia Military Institute. Ensign Beaulieu. Ensign Beaulieu has been designated a student naval flight officer and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Beaulieu is a graduate of Eastern Connecticut State University. Ensign Lacona. Ensign Lacona has been designated a surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS Rushmore in San Diego, California. Ensign Lacona is a graduate of Florida State University. Ensign Fet Binjakal. Ensign Fet Binjakal has been designated a surface warfare engineering duty officer and will be assigned to USS Cowpens in San Diego, California. Ensign Fet Binjakal is a graduate of University of California, San Diego. Ensign Brewer. Ensign Brewer has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Brewer is a graduate of the University of Connecticut. Ensign Taylor. Ensign Taylor has been designated a Civil Engineer Corps officer and will be assigned to Civil Engineer Corps Officer School in Port Hueneme, California. Ensign Taylor is a graduate of the Virginia Military Institute. Ensign Steiner. Ensign Steiner has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Steiner is a graduate of University of Wisconsin-Madison. Ensign Zhuang. Ensign Zhuang has been designated a nuclear surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS O'Kane in San Diego, California. Ensign Zhuang is a graduate of Texas A&M University. Ensign Higgins. Ensign Higgins has been designated an explosive ordnance disposal warfare officer and has been assigned to Naval Diving and Salvage Training Center in Panama City, Florida. Ensign Higgins is a graduate of University of Maryland. Ensign Blatchford. Ensign Blatchford has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Blatchford is a graduate of University of Massachusetts, Amherst. Ensign Poling. Ensign Poling has been designated a surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS Cowpens in San Diego, California. Ensign Poling is a graduate of University of Texas at Austin. Ensign Bavard. Ensign Bavard has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Bavard is a graduate of University of Maryland, College Park. Ensign Bowie. Ensign Bowie has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Bowie is a graduate of Georgia Institute of Technology. Ensign Cooper. Ensign Cooper has been designated a Supply Corps officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps Officer School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Cooper is a graduate of Old Dominion University. Ensign Creighton. Ensign Creighton has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Donald Cook in Rota, Spain. Ensign Creighton is a graduate of University of Chicago. Ensign Cross. Ensign Cross has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Cross is a graduate of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Ensign E. Barley. Ensign E. Barley has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign E. Barley is a graduate of the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. Ensign Edwards. Ensign Edwards has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Edwards is a graduate of University of Richmond. Ensign Flores. Ensign Flores has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Ashland in Sasebo, Japan. Ensign Flores is a graduate of Texas A&M University, San Antonio. Ensign Foxton. Ensign Foxton has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Foxton is a graduate of the State University of New York at Binghamton. Ensign Francisco. Ensign Francisco has been designated a Supply Corps officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps Officer School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Francisco is a graduate of University of Arizona. Ensign Garrett. Ensign Garrett has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Green Bay in Sasebo, Japan. Ensign Garrett is a graduate of University of Georgia. Ensign Gerhardt. Ensign Gerhardt has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Gerhardt is a graduate of University of Maryland, College Park. Ensign Geeler. Ensign Geeler has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Geeler is a graduate of the Rochester Institute of Technology. Ensign Gu. Ensign Gu has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Gu is a graduate of University of California, Los Angeles. Ensign Gwil. Ensign Gwil has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Gwil is a graduate of Arizona State University. Ensign Johnson Baldeo. Ensign Johnson Baldeo has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Arlington in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Johnson Baldeo is a graduate of Rutgers University. Ensign Kipp. Ensign Kipp has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Kipp is a graduate of Missouri Western State University. Ensign Kosovar. Ensign Kosovar has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Momsen in Everett, Washington. Ensign Kosovar is a graduate of University of Virginia. Ensign Lee. Ensign Lee has been designated a Supply Corps officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps Officer School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Lee is a graduate of University of New England. Ensign Levine. Ensign Levine has been designated a cryptologic warfare officer and will be assigned to Cryptologic Warfare Maritime Activity 6-1 in Fort Meade, Maryland. Ensign Levine is a graduate of University of Tennessee at Martin and the American Military University. Ensign Lopez. Ensign Lopez has been designated a surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS Hopper in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Ensign Lopez is a graduate of University of Southern California. Ensign Matos. Ensign Matos has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Matos is a graduate of University of Maryland, University College. Ensign McCaskill. Ensign McCaskill has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign McCaskill is a graduate of East Carolina University. Ensign Napier. Ensign Napier has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Napier is a graduate of University of North Texas. Ensign Wynn. Ensign Wynn has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Wynn is a graduate of Georgia Institute of Technology. Ensign Olson. Ensign Olson has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Olson is a graduate of University of Arizona. Ensign Osley. Ensign Osley has been designated a Supply Corps officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps Officer School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Osley is a graduate of St. Cloud State University. Ensign Peshek. Ensign Peshek has been designated a student naval flight officer and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Peshek is a graduate of University of Missouri. Ensign Pitchford. Ensign Pitchford has been designated a Civil Engineer Corps officer and will be assigned to Civil Engineer Corps Officer School in Port Hueneme, California. Ensign Pitchford is a graduate of Virginia Military Institute. Ensign Pokorski. Ensign Pokorski has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Pokorski is a graduate of University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. Ensign Porch. Ensign Porch has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Porch is a graduate of University of Charleston, West Virginia. Ensign Pritting. Ensign Pritting has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Pritting is a graduate of University of California, San Diego. Ensign Sanchez. Ensign Sanchez has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Sanchez is a graduate of University of Wisconsin, Madison. Ensign Severn. Ensign Severn has been designated a Supply Corps officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps Officer School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Severn is a graduate of James Madison University. Ensign Sharma. Ensign Sharma has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Sharma is a graduate of the Colorado School of Mines. Ensign Teig. Ensign Teig has been designated a Civil Engineer Corps officer and will be assigned to Civil Engineer Corps Officer School in Hueneme, California. Ensign Teig is a graduate of University of Hawaii at Manoa. Ensign Valavide. Ensign Valavide has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Valavide is a graduate of University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Ensign Vandewey. Ensign Vandewey has been designated a student naval flight officer and will be assigned to aviation pre-flight indoctrination in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Vandewey is a graduate of Arizona State University. Ensign Vandermolen. Ensign Vandermolen has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Vandermolen is a graduate of Cedarville University. Ensign Viril Lopez. Ensign Viril Lopez has been designated a nuclear submarine officer and will be assigned to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Viril Lopez is a graduate of the University of Puerto Rico. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the service songs and the final dismissal.
Pass 1719. Out 10-2.
Please remain in your places until after the graduating class has taken their class photo. On behalf of the commanding officer, Officer Training Command, Newport, thank you for attending today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the graduation ceremony.